when this happened last week, a lot of people went back to nepotism, that the only reason Grant has a job is because of you, Dad. I think you might want to respond to this one.
I would. And ever since Iggy has gotten to be well known, and let's face it, he's very well known. Maybe not as well known as Pat McAfee, but he's very well known.
I'm no Pat McAfee, Dad, but maybe one day. Maybe one day.
No, you're a rat bastard.
I'm a rat bastard at this point,
and you're not a tough guy.
No.
So in any event, I got a lot of tweets this last week. Your son sucks, and the only reason he has a job is because of you, and nepotism, blah, blah, blah. I want to say there is a certain amount of truth to the nepotism. So let me explain what happened. Iggy, what year was it?
2011. I was 23.
Okay, 2011, our family had gone to Hawaii.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
You went.
Mom and I, we went to Hawaii, and you were still in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
And we went with the family, Dr. Gary Furness and Val Furness and their daughters. He's a doctor in Santa Rosa. So while we were there, Iggy got a phone call from the sports editor of the Press Democrat, Bill Piniella, a dear friend of mine and a wonderful guy. Iggy, was it that Matt Mayoko had left the paper? Is that
Eric Branch? Eric Branch.
Eric Branch. Yeah, Eric Branch. He had gone to the Chronicle.
Right.
And they needed somebody to cover the Niners and to write a Niners blog. So
just online. Nothing. There was not a full-time job. It was not in the newspaper. It was just do the blog.
Right. And you were not in the newspaper guild.
Right.
You got none of those protections.
Right.
Okay. So Bill Piniella called, and then Iggy said, I'll call you back.
And I had been stringing for NBC Sports Bay Area for about a year. I had written some things for them, but it's true. He knew you very well, and he knew me well since I was a little kid.
Yeah, he was my editor, and he's friends of the family. So we all huddled, and I said, I don't want you to take the job because you're too good for that. I want you to be a columnist. And Dr. Gary Furness, God love him, said, with all due respect, Lowell, this is a no-brainer. This is his entree into media. Yeah. So he took it. Iggy, you generally earned about $24,000 a year from them?
Generally, at first I got $1,000 a month before taxes, and then eventually I worked it up to $1,500, and then to $2,000. Pretty much that's where I topped out.
Okay, so he was making not a lot of money, but it was a start, and he got it.
Got a credential. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Got a credential.
Got a credential, and he got it clearly because he was my son. So okay, I copped to that. Now I didn't try to get him the job. It was a surprise to me when Piniella called him, but still, he got it because he was my son. Fine. Every other job since then, I've had nothing to do with. Yeah. When Sports Illustrated called Iggy a few years ago and said, would you like to work for us? These people were young. They had never even heard of me, but they had seen Grant's work, and they said, we want you. So his job at Sports Illustrated, now it's called Fan House, in the Sports Illustrated network, came entirely without me. These people didn't know me from anybody. And then he made the leap to YouTube, and all of you people are watching him. And he did this all on his own. I didn't even know what YouTube was. So, yeah, I mean, for all you people in the future, when you get angry at Grant, you can write that it was nepotism, but the nepotism was at the beginning, and it was a sliver of his career and has nothing to do with what he's doing now. And I'll say another thing. Iggy makes more money than I could ever dream of when I was a well-known columnist in the Bay Area. I mean, sometimes I think I'd like him to give me an allowance.
Yeah, I am really proud of this YouTube thing that I've built. And, if something were to happen and people were to take everything away from me and try to ruin my life, I'd still have this YouTube channel that I built by myself. Right. And I would live exactly the way I'm living right now. So that's really nice thing to feel and to have. So I admit that I used the connection that I had to get in the door, but doesn't everyone? Like, are there people in the world that are like, I have this connection, I'm not going to use it because I want to get this I want the hard way. I mean, maybe there are people, and if there are, I commend you, but I feel like everyone tries to use what they got at some point.
But you didn't try. He came to you.
That's true. I didn't apply for the PD job. I didn't apply for the job at SI. I've never applied for a job. And I've never actually had a full-time job. I've been a freelancer my whole life. So yeah, I've gotten some breaks, but at the same time, I've never had a full-time job in my life. I've never had a benefit benefits, never had them. Never. But what I do have is a YouTube channel that I created by myself that's going to be, those are my benefits. It's nice. Feels good.
And I think on this line, because you're an up and comer, Pat McAfee, if you're still watching, and I think you probably are, because I think we've won you over. I think you ought to give Iggy some praise for following in your footsteps and creating this thing on his own and without nepotism. So
yeah, one thing I want to say about Pat McAfee seriously is that even though he's a mouth breather who totally misrepresented what happened between me and Kim last week and got all the facts wrong and is not a journalist and portrays one, he found a way to make a bunch of money talking about sports, and anyone who can do that, I respect, because it's not easy. That's really not easy. It's very hard. So good for Pat. I respect
you, Pat. Yeah, you've really made a success of it, and you've created a very interesting character.
Absolutely, for sure. Alex Rock says you're both proud lit majors. As of my rapid fire, what are your favorite novels and why? Your favorite novel? Top 5 now, go.
Now, first of all, there are many of them, but off the top of my head, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. It is the most beautifully written novel I've ever seen.
That's funny. The first one that popped in my head, I don't know if it's how I would feel tomorrow, but All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy, because it's
what a novel.
It's a whole different type of book than Lolita, but it's just as pretty to read, and it's a Western. It's a coming of age. I like it too. All the Pretty Horses.
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy. What a talent.
Yep.
What a talent. That was a good one, maybe.
Yeah, thanks. Matthew Sanders says everyone has been given a chance slightly above their skill set at one point in the past. 10 years later, hard work and accountability.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Randall Riley says, for you, my favorite rat bastard and Daddy Fave, keep up the great work. Should I sell a shirt with my face on it that just says rat bastard?
It'd be pretty good.
That'd be pretty good, right?
And send one over to Pat McAfee.
Oh, man. See, this is why I love my dad. We got the same exact sensibility.